Yo, what's up out there? Got a haul. It's the haul of shipping sorrows. Had some unfortunate shipping from people who don't know how to ship comic books. Like two weeks of comics, and man, I think like half of them were shipped horribly. But anyway, first up, here's one to look out for. In the next couple months, maybe, I think it just came out for solicitation, so maybe like 2 3 months. Maybe by the time you watch this video, it'll be closer to that. Star Wars Heir to the Empire miniseries #1 from Dark Horse. Marvel has announced that they're going to do a Grand Admiral Thrawn series, and this is him on the cover here. Supposedly he's kind of a badass. I read this first issue. It takes place after. It starts out. It says it takes place after the destruction of the second Death Star. So this is pretty late in the. Well, actually, I wouldn't say it's late in the storyline, because it's still when. I don't know. I guess I would have to read this to see how it pans out, because compared to like the new movies, Luke Skywalker is still young in this. It's just right when he becomes known as a Jedi. So I guess the Dark Horse is a little different than what they've been doing with the movies in terms of chronology and how the story plays out after episode what 6. Yeah, after episode 6. But at any rate, this is his first appearance. It's in Dark Horse. I think what's really funny about this, the fact that he's in this first, is Marvel, when Disney bought Star Wars back and Marvel started doing, they said, "Oh, the Dark Horse stuff is not canon. That's not canon. Doesn't mean anything to us." Oh, and then they're gonna go and take this dude that was born in the Dark Horse comics and make their own series. So whatever. The first issue was pretty good. He goes and Grand Admiral Thrawn goes and tries to take over a planet, or take over. Goes and tries to negotiate with a Jedi who is one of the few remaining Jedi's, and he wants to get Skywalker, basically. Let me adjust this a little bit here. Oh, so sorry about that. Next up, I got Power Rangers. I believe this is number 17. This is the 1 in 50 variant. I paid $51.50 for it. It has been selling for about 75 to 100. Not many of them out there either. I think this series has died down a little bit in terms of people buying 50 copies of any issue. So a little bit hard to find. I've only seen like one or two online, honestly. Probably one of those books that people get and keep in their collection. Here we go on the horrible shipping. Oh, and that Star Wars Dark Empire, or Heir to the Empire, the guy shipped it media mail, and he did have cardboard in it, but the books were not taped to the cardboard, so they slid all around and all of the corners got dinged on them. So I bought it on eBay and I sent a return, and the seller just sent me all what I paid back for it and said keep it. So I said, all right, fine, that works for me. I just requested a return to get my money back. I was gonna send it back at my own cost, but I'll take that. Another one that I got that the seller had no clue what they were doing. It was TMNT and Usagi Yojimbo. This is the San Diego Comic Con convention exclusive. Now, what I don't get with this one is, you can see down at the bottom, this one says the convention. There's another one that they're just calling the retailer incentive, and this one was limited to 500. The other one, the retailer incentive, it's a Kevin Eastman cover. I believe this cover is Stan Sakai. Yeah, actually, it might be. This one's Eastman and Sakai. The other one I think is just Eastman, but this one I feel like should be the more sought after one because it's the actual convention exclusive. Although the other one's just called a retailer exclusive. It was given away at San Diego Comic-Con. Seems to be selling for a little bit more. That one's going for like 50 to 60. This one is around 20 to 30. So this one I bought, right after the convention. Somebody that was at the show probably picked it up and thought, hey, I can flip this. And they didn't know how to ship comics. So this one came in a bubble mailer, no protection at all. At least it was bagged and boarded. The whole bottom corner had like a big bend on it. Kind of flattened it out a little bit, but paid 20 for it and asked for a return. The seller gave me 10 back, so that's what they were at the convention. I think was $10. So whatever. I'll hold on to it. I think it's a decent book to have. Continuing on with the horrible shipping. This one I kind of expected it. This one was shipped. I believe this was also shipped media mail. It was wrapped in like 10 layers of kind of like brown craft paper, basically. Princeless #1. They announced during San Diego Comic-Con this is going to be an animated movie. This is from Action Lab. I paid about $15 for it, and it was surprisingly it didn't take any hit during shipping, even though it was shipped media mail. But it was in like a fine, very fine condition when I purchased it. So it wasn't near mint. This book is, when it got announced, there was only a couple copies online. And if you're gonna go looking for it, make sure you get the first print. Second print has like a $1, I think, right here. So I don't know what that'll do. One just sold for like $60. Like I said, there's not many showing up. I don't think it's gonna be an easy book to find. All right, I got another copy of just #1 of the Star Wars Heir to the Empire. Paid $6 for that. Kind of a tough series to find. The Dark Horse stuff has commanded money for a while. I think people like, Star Wars fans like this stuff because they did a lot of new stories, so it's kind of tough to find. All right, continuing on. Horrible shipping. This was an online store where I bought I bought this and some other stuff. All the other stuff came damaged. This one survived, luckily, but the seller just did not know how to ship comics. I sent back a message. I said, "Let me return these. They're horrible. They got bent. You're a horrible shipper." And they said, "Oh, sorry about that. What if I send you something else?" I said, "All right, fine. Go ahead and send me that." That came. They were like, "Oh, I had somebody else pack it. Sorry about that." The next one came. It was bent to crap too, from horrible shipping. They were using the priority mail bubble mailer and just using that and like putting, some scraps of paper around it. It's been frustrating online buying, and that's why people can command a premium at a convention, because you can hold it in your hand and walk away with it that day. At any rate, I paid $25 for this Spawn cover swipe of Amazing Fantasy, Spawn 221, and so I'm happy with that price. It's about a $40 to $60 book, given the day. So, talking of Spawn, I read this because I saw that it was advertised up top here as the new Dark Horse story arc. And honestly, a lot of the Spawn stuff that is a story arc, like advertised as such, meaning it's Gunslinger or whatever it be, all the different iterations of Spawn through the years, they've always done pretty well. And I read this to see what it was like. I think this is also the first time that Jason Shawn Alexander was on the book, or at least recently, and I liked it. It really I'm excited to read the rest of the story arc. It was good. It was a little creepy, and I think this one's got some chance to gain some value down the road. So there's 3 covers for it. That's cover A. Cover B is a black and white of one of the splash pages inside, and then cover C is a McFarlane that has absolutely nothing to do with the story. If I had to guess, I would say it was just like something that he had drawn before that they had sitting on the shelf. So definitely pick those up if you get a chance. Another thing from San Diego Comic-Con, Flashpoint was announced as the movie, the Flash movie. This is the second Flashpoint series by Jeff Johns. This is the San Diego Comic-Con variant from 2011. Kind of interesting, they announced this at San Diego and then went out and bought this for $11.50. Bought a couple copies off of Graffiti Designs, who does, now they do the foil convention variants. They have a website. They usually don't have any of the foils. I don't think they've had any of the foils because they usually sell them out now, but they have a lot of older variants if you want to check it out. And good prices on them. Graffiti Designs. So that one's selling for, I don't know, like 20 to 30 on a good day. Alright, so let's get into some better news here. These are some comics that I picked up at a local flea market that I have gone to a couple times a year for the past couple of years. Decent sized flea market, but I almost never find anything. This was one dealer who had a lot of books, or one vendor, and some long boxes of just like overstock. Venom number 31. These were 4 for $1. Venom 31 is first appearance of the character who plays, is it Maxima, the female Venom symbiote character who comes out in this series. This is her first appearance just as a human, in the human form. I ended up only getting 3 comics from here, so I gave them $1 for 3 comics. Venom Circle of 4, number 14. This is just the regular issue. I've shown the 4 different covers, the connecting covers before, for 14.1 through 4. And then Ninjak number 4. This is the 25th anniversary Valiant. This is, I believe this is the first appearance of Roku. And they have like 3 variant covers for this issue. So I paid like 33 cents each, not mad about that. Another dealer that I went to, picked these up. These were 5 for $2. So I ended up getting 10 comics. Deathstroke 53, 54, 56, and 57. 53 is first appearance of some group. I can't remember what it is, honestly, off the top of my head. I think they were on the Arrow show, maybe. Found some Sunfire Big Hero number 1. They actually have 4 copies of that. So they only had 1 long box at this vendor, and again, probably overstock because they had like these multiple copies of issues. And Flash 138 found 2 of those. First Black Flash. So that was a good deal for what, 40 cents an issue. All right, next up, I think this will round out the haul. One of my local shops was having a good sale. I actually went 2 days because I went on a Friday, and this shop has like really grown. They got a lot of good stuff. all ages of comics. They have their main store, and they've grown to a side store as well. So I only was able to get through the main store on Friday, then I went back Saturday. This stuff was, most of their stuff was like half price. So picked up All New Wolverine #6 for $225 below cover price. I'm buying anything like 6 and below for cover price at this point. This is the conclusion of the Four Sisters. You can see on the cover there, it's got X-23 and the other 3 test tube sisters created. And there's Gabby, who's gotten real hot lately. Yeah, so anything under like 6 and under seem to be picking up, definitely. Seems to be a popular series. Also found this in a back issue bin for $7.50. Spider-Man 344 for Cletus Cassidy. Found a Batman 656 for $2.50. And then the variants hit. The variant bins were half off as well. I found a, let's see, this is DuckTales #1, Virgin variant 1 in 10. I paid $7.50 for that. That's a pretty cool cover. This was definitely the score of the day. A Harbinger #3 variant. Showed this a couple videos ago. I can't believe this thing was still there. It was, this book, I knew they had a decent amount of the newer Valiant variants, but actually they were pretty well picked over at this point. This one was still there though, and this is besides like the Divinity variants, this is probably the highest going variant right now. Harbinger #3 first live wire in the new Valiant. Paid $5 for it. Really surprised it was still there. Star Wars, I was looking for the 40th anniversary variants because those are starting to get hot. Found the Star Wars 28 for $2.50. This book is not doing anything though. I'm kind of surprised because it's got Leia on the cover, Vader. I guess it's probably just because there's so many Star Wars out there. The Star Wars series. The spin-off series may be a little bit harder to find. So I paid $2.50 for that, and I was flipping through. I was saying, oh, that'd be cool if they had some of the the harder ones to find. Lo and behold, they had a Dr. Aphra #3. This is the first cover of the 40th anniversary series. You can see down at the bottom. This book is going for about $50 right now, which is crazy considering, what we're talking about here. It's not that old. It might have been like if you order X amount of over issue 2 or something, you can get this, but it wasn't like a true incentive variant, like a 1 in 10 or anything like that. So I was really happy to find that. Also picked up this Transformers #1, More Than Meets the Eye. This is a gatefold cover, flips out. These books are made really nice from IDW. This one goes for, let's see, I paid like $7.50. It maybe is like a $20, $30 book. And last variant I picked up was Uncle Scrooge #400, Carl Banks Deluxe Edition variant, Virgin variant. Really cool, nice looking cover. So those were the variants I got. Let's see what else we got here. Picked up a couple sets at half off. 2 different sets. I picked up what did I pay for this? Long Shot 1 through 6. Really nice looking set. Unfortunately, #1 is probably the worst of them, but it was $12.50 for all of them. So like just a touch over $2 each for a really nice high grade. I'll take that. And I picked Marvel Divas 1 through 4 for $5. So $1.25 each. Definitely worth it on those. So that was what I got the first day that I went. Went back the second day into the other part of the store. These were in the dollar bins. I picked up a All New Wolverine 2 through 6 So how about that? After I was just saying, I've been looking for some of these earlier ones. These are getting real hard to find. At least at conventions, I don't see any in the. There's some dealers that'll bring like the new backstock stuff and just try and blow it out for like $2. The only one I've ever found like that is number 2, which is the best one to get besides number 1. So I was really happy to find those for $1 each. Definitely picking those up when I see them. Found New Avengers 35, just this cool Lionel Yu, Venomized Wolverine. Saga, found a 7 and a 10. Not perfect condition, but I'll take them for $1. A little bit of spine stressing. A Spider-Man 13. How many times you pass this book over for $1? Now it's starting to actually be worth something. A St. George #1 from Epic Comics. This is the first appearance of Terror Inc., who had a 90s book and is in the Deadpool Mercs for the Money group. Let's see what else we got. And the last of the dollar books was a hot artist right now, Lucio Perillo. Italian artist, Warlord of Mars, and Vampirella stuff is getting real hot. These were all $1 each. None of these are the real hot covers. Some of them, like the Vampirella stuff, are going for crazy, like $50, $70. Just for, it's a cover B, basically. But his stuff is pretty nice. This one I probably, I mean, none of these like really jump out to me, but nice painted art. So that was cool to get those for $1. What else we got? All right. He had a collection of signed books. I got this Wonder Woman 72. This was $3, but it's really like it's probably like a fine minus copy. You can see that it's really yellow on the cover, and on the back it's got like a little tear. It's signed by like these guys: Bill Loebs, Lee Moder. Unfortunately, it wasn't Boland, but for $3, I figured why not. And I also picked this one up for $5, which is a lot better. A lot better going for it in terms of condition. And this one's signed by Mike Deodato Jr., who took over on this issue for the interiors. And it's also first Aries, right? Picked this one up. This was 10. And I probably would have paid 10 for it anyway in this condition, but this one's signed by John Byrne, which is pretty sweet. This is a hot book right now. It's going for, I don't know, $20 to $40, just because it's kind of a racy cover, obviously. This was an awesome one too. Bone #1. This is the 3rd print. Nice, real nice, vibrant cover. It's got a couple stresses, not near mint plus, but it's a nice copy and signed by Jeff Smith, and it's got a little sketch up here. That was $10 for the 3rd print, so real happy to have that one. Here's one you may or may not know about. Captain America 180. First appearance of Steve Rogers as Nomad, and the rumor is that the new Avengers movie, he will be donning a new costume, and they've been talking about this Nomad costume. This costume's horrible, so I hope they don't do it. But it's caused this book to heat up a lot, so I paid $20 for this. Right now in this condition, this is a nice high-grade copy, probably like a VF near mint, maybe even a little bit higher. It's just got a little bit of a bad rap, a little too much white over here for most people's liking, but it is a nice copy. It's probably like a $50 to $70 book right now. Chew #1 2nd print, paid $20 for that. I'm happy to have that in the collection. Picked up a couple Rick and Morty's. So I ended up paying, let me see what I paid for these. For the 2 of these, I paid $75. Not what I wanted to pay, but he hooked me up on other stuff, so I figured why not. #1, this is a variant. I think it's like a 1 in 10, maybe a 1 in 20. And then that is the second print cover. Obviously these books are going crazy for whatever reason. Number 1 is selling for over 200 now. Ridiculous. Couple more things I got there was picked up this for $65. Flashpoint, all the 1 in 25 sketch variants. Number 5 is awesome. It's Kubert covers. These are heating up a lot now because of the Flashpoint movie, like I said earlier. So that was a real nice buy. Especially number 5 seems to be going for about $60 on its own. And then finally paid $125 for this. I think it was a good buy at that price. Venom number 1, the gold variant. It's probably like a 9.6. It's just got this like top corner. It's a little off, but it's close. It's close to a 9.8. On a good day for a grader, it'd be a 9.8. If they're having a bad day, 9.6. So it's a little bit. That's more than I want to spend for this kind of book, but I figured when I threw all the other stuff in, it kind of helped even things out for the other books that I got at really good prices. So I wasn't mad about it. And happy to add it to the collection. I think this book in the next 6 months will probably go up to, it's at least 200 in this grade, maybe even a little bit more as we get this movie keeps moving forward, hopefully. So thanks for watching. Got some great stuff. You see I'm doing a little bit on both ends of the spectrum. Getting some little bit older stuff, not a whole lot. Getting the dollar bins, getting a little bit pricier books. So hope that you're out there doing the same. Able to get some knowledge from the stuff that I'm showing. Looking forward to hearing comments as usual. Thanks for watching. Keep trolling those dollar bins.